When you were 13, I imagine all of you were into something. It could have been anything, but what I'm wanting to know is anything competitive. I imagine some of you were into something like any kind of sport, basketball, baseball, a card game, anything. Now imagine the utmost masters of that game when you were just 13. Imagine having a one-on-one and bringing them to a tie. That was the skill of one Magnus Carlsen, a chess player who, only at the age of 13, drove a man named Garry Kasparov to a stalemate. Garry Kasparov being the second world champion of the game. My service learning project was serving at the Little Rock School District chess tournament chess tournament sets as a proctor, in which I assisted in setting up roughly 80 boards, clocks, and the entirety of the event, as well as proctoring over the event itself. Throughout the day, I would have to work on different things like making sure that the direct rules of the game would be followed, such as having to remind people that certain moves are illegal, as well as answer a question about the more intricate parts of the rules. The main issue would come that while this would sound like no issue to someone that is our age, the people I was dealing with weren't all our age. The people I was dealing with were not only high schoolers, but people as young as kindergartners up to 12th year. So the main bracket that I myself dealt with was the K through 2 and 3 through 5 divisions, though I worked at this multiple times, sometimes being in different divisions of the tournament. You can imagine something like 2 4-year-olds trying to argue about something as intricate as a chess game, and me just having to sit there kind of waiting for them to quiet down before responding. What I did doesn't exactly have its own mission statement. The mission statement, that would be the best I can do for something as broad as this, as it was something that was derived out of the entire Little Rock School District, is the Little Rock School District's mission statement, which says, the mission of the Little Rock School District is to equip all students with the skills and knowledge to realize their aspirations, think critically and independently, learn continuously, and face the future as productive, contributing citizens. This mission is accomplished through the open access to a diverse, innovative, and challenging curriculum in a secure environment, with a staff dedicated to excellence and empowered with the trust and support of our community. What chess does out of this especially is teaching someone to think critically and independently, as this is a game where you're not just looking at what's on the board ahead of you. This is something where you have to think 10 moves in 10 minutes ahead, where you have to think about what the other person's going to do. And relating back to the quote I had at the start from Carlsen, it helps them realize their aspirations. Chess is something that a lot of people do throughout the entirety of their life. A lot of people have made their living just on this game. Carlsen, for instance, has gone to malls, put on a blindfold, turned his back to 10 people, and played them all simultaneously. I'm not expecting anyone in the Lower Rock School District to be capable of this, but some people have shown incredible skill. I've met someone at these tournaments who was probably capable of at least being easily the best player in the state, if not the region of the country. Out of the speech components that were a part of what I did, the first would be active listening. As I said before, I would have to sit and wait while listening to 2 kindergartners arguing about the legality of their 4th or 5th move, where it would be one of the most simple looking games to most people, but they were still learning. That's part of the experience, that while some people, as I said, are looking to be potential grandmasters someday, some of them are still learning. That's why I went, to help kids like this learn. The definition for active listening is any type of listening that features nonverbal and verbal responses. This means that I would have to watch their gestures simultaneously with listening to them, making sure that the board wasn't messed with while they were working through whatever of the many issues they had. The other component of speech would be feedback, which would come directly after the active listening, in which I would just have to ensure that the rules were properly followed. The definition for feedback is a response from the receiver informing the sender of how their communication is being received, and in addition to that, what should be done in response to what they had said. In a lot of the cases, it would be something minuscule, but I had a few cases where I would have to genuinely consult a rule book, because for something like chess, the rules are so intricate for something that's centuries old. We don't think about it, but chess is something that has been around for so long, and we still have some people as young as kindergartners wanting to play it. And I've seen kindergartners take on people in middle school at this game and hold their own, which still astounds me, even though I've proctored over games like that. In this speech, I gave a story about Magnus Carlsen, the youngest and most talented chess player of our age. I told you a story about my time proctoring over Little Rock School District chess tournaments. I gave an analysis of this story, as well as told you about the listening and feedback that made up my story. And this is a quote from Garry Kasparov, the, at the time, 40-year-old grandmaster that Magnus Carlsen was capable of stalemating when he was 13. You cannot say, go, go, rah, rah, good move. People want some emotion. Chess is an art, not a spectator sport.